well, I don't know if it's more, but 52% of our licensed agents are female. Now that is, thank you. That is absolutely a unique differentiator of how to expand your talent pool. Because by the way, trillions of dollars are passing to none other than females by 2030. So this is an excellent opportunity for you to understand how we specifically try to capitalize upon the uniqueness of expanding a talent pool. So without further delay, I would like to introduce to you Robert and Raquel Slowinski. Now, yes, I have had the pleasure and personal opportunity of getting to know both Robert and Raquel for the past 4 years. And uniquely enough, Raquel started in this business as a college student and has been in the business now for almost 24 years. And uniquely enough, she married Robert, and then Robert joined the industry. So you can meet your spouse in our organization. Robert is a veteran of the Air Force, and out of the Air Force, he, for 13 years, was an entrepreneur of an IT company. But what they specialize in is not just life insurance. They are true holistic financial advisors, registered investment advisors, where they are committed to financial education in our industry. And with that, they really take the opportunity to boil down the complexities of our business. And by doing that, they also build a team that wants to follow them. So I am more than happy to say that the number one important factor for Robert and Raquel is their family. They have 4 amazing children, Emma, Amelia, Matthew, and Joshua. So without further delay, join me in welcoming Raquel Slowinski.
No se oye.
Okay. All right, how about now? All right, perfect. All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Wendy, for that wonderful introduction. I am, what did you say? Non-Caucasian. Well, you know, I love this is one of my favorite topics. And so before I actually get into the meat of the message, I do want to share with you why probably this is a great topic for me to share on. It's, okay. So we have, Rob, maybe you want to check with whoever's, maybe I can do it from here. Okay, we'll do this for now, so we'll figure this out. Okay? So thank you, Wendy, for sharing a little bit about myself and my background. So I am typically probably not the person through traditional methods that you would recruit into this business. In fact, I remember when I was introduced to this business, I was introduced by my oldest brother, who was a pharmacist that was introduced to finance, right, to the financial industry. And then I was pursuing a career in medicine. That's how I thought I was going to help people and, you know, make good money, become a medical doctor. So I was on my way to do that when I was introduced to look at the financial industry. And, oh my gosh, my impression of the financial industry, please forgive me for my initial impression, was so boring, right? Any of you, maybe your first impression was the same way? No?
Yeah.
No? Yes. Well, I thought it was number crunching, and I thought it was going to be so boring, and I really didn't think I would want to do this. But you know what? When I came into the business, because of the way that our company was structured, I got to go into the field, even when I was pursuing my licensing. And I started to go on field appointments and realized that, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You know, here we get to make such a great impact for people, and we get to make really good income too. And so I fell in love with it. But going back to why I would not be your ideal person in business, actually, it took me like almost 2 years to get my license. All my life and health, my Series 6, 63, 26, it took me about 23 months. How many of you, it took you so long? We have one other guy, and he happens to be with the same company, right? So, what is our topic today? Our topic is recruiting people who may not fit the mold, right? So by all means, I'm not the person you want to recruit. So what was I doing for those 23 months? I was going into the field. I was learning. Because finance was not something I ever wanted to do. It wasn't something I intended to do. However, I knew my whole life that I wanted to do something where I could work with people, where I could impact them, where I could make a positive impact in their life and build them up. Is that why you do what you do today? Yes, that's part of it, for sure, right? And so, because I knew nothing about the finance industry, in those 23 months and by the way, I was a straight A student in school, so I wasn't stupid, right? It's just I didn't know anything about the industry. So if you had asked me before I became licensed if I wanted to do the business, I would have said no. Probably if you tried to recruit me, I would have said no. In fact, I did say no many times. But then after getting involved and going through the training and those kinds of things, I fell in love with it. And today my husband and I have built a great business. I've been one of the top producers in our company, not for 1 year, not for 5 years, not for 10 years, but more than 15 years. Okay? We have over 200 licensed agents in our team. Not huge, but not small either. So I love the message that was shared this morning by our opening speaker. Sometimes you have to recruit quantity to get quality. Right? Okay. So let's look at our profession. What does our current profession look like? Well, Wendy talked a lot about it already, right? The majority is men. Is it true? Yes? Yes? No one's answering. Yes? Yes. Predominantly white. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you. 60% are 50 and older, and there are more advisors over the age of 70 than under the age of 30, right? So what does that mean? We're going to have a big problem very soon. We already have a problem right now because there's a lot of people to help and not enough of us to help them, right? Which is why we don't need to compete against each other. We need to focus on the bigger problem, which is all the people that need us. And we need to collaborate and work together to help many people. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, awesome. So we see that, also the face of those who need our financial advice is changing, right? A lot of younger people now, for many reasons. For instance, many years ago, you could work for a company in the United States for 10, 20, 30 years, and even if you didn't have a dollar saved, you still had the security of a pension. Is that true? Yes. Well, so then who cares if you really did any kind of financial planning in the beginning because you knew you had that security. Today, we know we don't have that anymore. So we see more people at a younger age are starting to pay attention. But they may not always have the amount of money that, some of us may require. Okay, let's look at a little bit of the demographics today. We see that there's a lot of people who are also coming to our country. Maybe some of them don't even speak English, but they have money to invest. We see that there's many black households today. It says experience a 61% increase in median wealth between 2019 and 2022. Hispanic households saw a median wealth rise by 47% in those same 3 years. And Asian households holds the highest median wealth. What we know is that people also like to do business with those that they feel they can relate with. Is it true? Yes. We also see a lot of women today, single women, some by choice and some by life circumstances, that maybe they feel more comfortable just talking to a lady, talking to a woman sometimes, because they feel like they can relate. So I think that, we really have to change the way we think about what a financial professional looks like today, right? In fact, I am part of an organization that many of the biggest leaders, number one, never came from the financial industry. Very few come from the financial industry, right? And so most of them have a different background. For us, we call it building greenies. So greenies are those like me, never been in the financial industry before, or even my husband, right, who's in the IT field, will tell you more about himself, but never been in that industry. So what does it take to build? What does it take to recruit? But more importantly, retain greenies. You've got to have a high level of tolerance. Like the person who recruited me. Do you think in those 23 months when I didn't get my license, what if they had just given up on me? What if they had, what if for whatever reason their system or their structure filtered me out, then somebody like myself would leave me. So it doesn't mean that we lower our standards, but it does mean that we might need to have different criteria. So we have to guide them with a process, right? For many people, if you're gonna recruit people who have not been in the financial industry, who have not thought of themselves in the financial industry, there needs to be a period of education. In those 23 months, I wasn't doing nothing. In those 23 months, I was learning about, number one, the need for what we do today. And what I saw in those 23 months was that there was a great need. And then there's a great market. I didn't know that before. As a college student, I didn't know that before. My brother, as a pharmacist, nobody told him that either, right? You may have to build up our confidence. I will tell you, I had to build up my confidence. I had very low confidence. Anybody can relate? No? Okay. I did, right? But through our training system, I was able to come and build up my confidence to be a person that can impact hundreds and thousands of lives. Again, if we're going to think differently about recruiting, we have to also believe that people can develop these skills, develop it over time. For me, I call it passion. When I came into this business, I did not have a passion for the mission of helping people financially. It was developed over time. Through the training process, it was developed. We also build a lot of people part-time. Later on, my husband is going to share with you an example of one of the best builders in the financial industry. And I remember him sharing a story with us about he wanting to be in the financial industry. And so he went, he took the test, and he passed. But the only reason that he didn't go work with that company is because they required him to be full-time. And so he didn't want to walk away from his full-time job at that time, so he never got in. And later on, somebody from our company approached him, and he did. And well, my husband will share with you the results. But we build part-timers. We give maximum flexibility to people. We allow them to work on the weekends sometimes. We allow them to, run this. We give them the freedom to build. We call it the freedom to build. and the freedom to be able to build something that many times in their part-time become bigger than their full-time. Right? Actually, so when I started in the business, I was 18. Remember I told you I didn't get licensed for 23 months, so how much money did I make? Our company, we don't pay you if you're not licensed. So I made $0 for 23 months. But then the minute I got licensed, my next 12 months, I hit a 6-figure income. I was 20 years old. I just made 6-figure income. I decided not to go to medical school anymore and come into the business full time. And not a bad decision, okay? So we are inclusive, not exclusive. And I love what was shared today. You know, again, I do believe that we find quality through quantity. Okay. What we find is that some of these people are very hungry and they're very approachable. So how do you know? Well, we don't know. We have no idea. When people come into our company, we have no idea who's going to make it and no idea who's not going to make it. Right? Many people thought I would never make it. But I did. I stuck in here. Hung in there. We build leaders and business owners. We build people to take charge, to own their responsibility here. We work with a lot of what we call interdependence. So we build people to be independent, but we have a system of working together. We have a great community. In fact, I'm part of a bigger team, and in that team there's, about 70,000 of us that literally work together. At least twice a week we get together and we share ideas and we do recognition and we collaborate on how we can get bigger and better. And there's great value in that. We have a system and teamwork is critical. Okay, we focus a lot on the why. We focus a lot on our mission. We focus a lot on the job we need to do. We believe that we can make a bigger income. We can make a bigger impact. And of course we can make big income. Many of us would come here and become financially free. Right? My brother and his wife were both pharmacists. No longer. Now they make 7-figure income in our business. Right? We believe in those types of people. We are farmers, not hunters. What is the difference, right? A hunter, you're looking for a specific prey, right? Farmer, you plant the seeds, you water it, you cultivate it, you take care of the soil, you do all those kinds of things when you just give it time to develop and to grow. And we trust the process, and we keep it simple. We keep our system very simple, and we train and develop people. And we have a system where we're always coaching, always developing them. All right? So, I want to share with you one of those examples and how we've been able to, take another person who absolutely did not fit the mold. So I'll ask my husband to come on up and share with you the rest of our presentation today.
Thank you, Raquel. Isn't she the right height for me? Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to be here, happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us and hosting us. I spent 11 and a half years in the Air Force, 3 combat tours, got my degree in computer science, and I thought I too would in my life. And so I spent the next 10 years building a great IT business in the DC Metro, all government contract based. Did very well, and then when I met Raquel, I'm a fan of business. I fell in love with her, and I fell in love with her business because to me, business should give you freedom, not constraint. And there are a lot of businesses out there that give you more constraint than freedom, right? So when I see the system that we have and the system that's been developed, I realize this is the freedom that I want. Because I still want to make great money, of course. Who doesn't want to make good money because it makes life a lot easier? But at the end of the day, if you don't have the freedom, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter what those dollar signs look like. If your freedom is taken away from you, meaning you don't get to dictate what your time looks like. And so for me, government contract, they were 20-hour days, very, very common, working to a very fast grade. But I will tell you, after coming into this business, because we are independent, but we work together, it relieves a lot of the stress. So I don't have to do all the heavy lifting. We look for people that are responsible. We look for everything that, a good quote employee would look like. But the difference is people can pick and choose what they want to do. They can pick and choose on what they want to focus on. And that gives people a lot of freedom. They want to work full-time, they work full-time. They want to work part-time, great, they work part-time. From a leadership standpoint, you have to go in knowing that that's where the patience comes in. That's where understanding comes in. And if you can deal with that, you can build an unbelievable business with this platform that can take care of you for future generations as well. So, the gentleman here that's in that picture came to this country from Vietnam right after the Chinese invaded. And he ended up in Guam in a little internment camp for a while, and then ended up in Hawaii, and then ended up in California and became a social worker. And he thought that's what you do. You get a degree, you go to work, you work your 40 hours a week, you get whatever kind of paycheck you get, you take care of your family. That's the American dream. And then he's seen this business, he's seen this industry, and he said, this is where I want to be. I still get to help people, but I actually get paid when I value my time as. And that's what we always have to do. We have to make sure we're getting good value for our time. So he's seen this industry, but he also seen some gaps in the industry. And he realized that there were things missing. Number one was education. The consumer out there today, the general consumer in this country, is not educated when it comes to money. They're not. That was a big thing that was missing. Second thing was missing was, how do I take someone who is a social worker, no experience in finance, no real experience in business, and develop that? I need to make sure I have a system of business. So Swan Nguyen decided to set himself apart and develop this system with WFG and say, you know what, we're going to build a process that allows people to come in, regardless of what their background looks like, where they come from, what height they are, what hair color they are, what education they have. If they have a desire to do good things for themselves and good things for people around them, then they can come here and be successful. So what he set forth was a process of building a brand new industry. And I know we're all in the financial industry, yes we are, but I will tell you, I think we're actually in the people industry. And the more that we put our heart into actually helping people, the paycheck takes care of itself. I'm not worried about that. There's plenty of business that's out there. And we also realize that a vast majority of middle America has not been really served by the financial industry. So we wanted to take that and say, you know what, let's run with that. We'll take care of it. You want to save $100, we'll help you save $100. You want to save $200, great, we'll help you do that. Doesn't matter. Can we scale up to the large organizations? Of course. Our platform is wonderful. It allows us to go from very small organizations all the way up to very large corporations. But we're not limiting. So the market then is completely wide open for us. We know our approach is different. We're different. We don't look like the traditional financial firm. A lot of people don't necessarily care for us. Why? Because we take all comers, good and bad. And I will tell you, after running an IT company, and I sit down with a potential employee, and I do the interview, and they check all the boxes, and they have all the education, and they have all the skill, and they're, oh man, this person's perfect, they're going to work out great, and they get in, and 2 weeks later, they're horrible. Why? Because they don't necessarily fit the culture. So even when you're trying to do your best to hire someone to fit your culture, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to get. You still have to go through the process of seeing who they really are. The difference with us We don't care. We don't care what your background is. We don't care where you come from. You want to come and do, again, good things for people and good things for yourself? This is the best place to do it. Do we find people that move slow? Yes. Can they frustrate you? Yes. Does it create a little headache now and again? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's when you find those gems, and you find those diamonds in the rough, and you find those people. There's a massive amount of talent out there today. Some of them don't even realize they're right for this industry. Some of them don't even realize what they can do in this industry until they get here and they learn. And it's a process. So our system is unique. Our compensation is revolutionary. Why do I have an interest to help someone from, an Uber driver and, train them and help them get licensed and, do all of these things? Why would I be interested in doing that? There's still a compensation in there for me. As the recruiter, as the upline, whatever you want to call them, I'm still part of my organization. I'll still make money, but I'm more happy that they get to make money. I'm more happy that they get to change their life. If I can help a lot of people make a lot of money, my paycheck takes care of itself. When you understand how compensation really works, you actually start to pick apart where all the money actually goes. If you can help, let's say 5 people make $1 million a year, your paycheck you'll never worry about again. But it depends upon where your focus and where your vision is at. So we give people that opportunity, and we know that's a little bit different, but that's also why we're growing so fast. That's why we're growing at about 11,000 recruits per month, is what we're looking at right now. We have over, it says 600, we're actually up to 800 plus offices across the United States and Canada. Because we have a system, we wear these funny green jackets, and we try to look the same, sound the same. It's if you go to a McDonald's on the East Coast, West Coast, North Coast, South Coast, it should feel the same, sound the same, taste the same. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just saying it shouldn't do that. With us, we wanted the same process. We want to give people a business plan that they can sit there and execute in small chunks. This is a big, broad industry. It's an elephant. And how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You cannot do it all at once. So these people have to come in and learn and learn and learn and learn, and that learning never stops. And it should never stop. For everybody. So these offices, we sit there, we educate not only our team members, we educate the public, we provide free financial reviews, we provide free financial education. We taught this education at Columbia University, Harvard University, the FBI, many police departments, fire departments, businesses, L'Oreal, Oracle. We take the education out into the public. Because what people don't know can actually hurt them when it comes to money. Just to give you a proven track record here in 2025, it says annualized premium is $752 million plus. Well, that's kind of true, kind of there. We got to clarify that. So about half of that is annualized premium. So dollar for dollar annualized premium. Other is rollovers. We get about 5% for each net rollover. So if it's 100,000, that's 5,000 points. That's the way that kind of calculates in there. And then there's a few other items in there, but that's what we're looking at. The recruiting number, though, is 119,000. How many of that 119,000 become builders in this industry? I would say a good 15 to 20%, I think, would be fair, which is normal. With any organization, the 80-20 rule applies. We're no different. But we're just going through the numbers, and we understand it's a numbers game. The more people that I can recruit, those are markets I can access. Because my market is limited to me. 119,000 markets is what that is. And all that money that's going to be transferring from the boomers to the Gen whatever, Zs or whatever, guess what? There's going to be people like us there to capture that. And that's why we're growing so fast. We have 53,000 licenses just in our organization alone, just in our team. Because why? Because we operate our platform with WFG. That's the best business partner to have. They give us all the tools and resources. We get to focus on what's important. Clients and the team. That's what we get to focus on, building our business. So to give you an example here, we just did a kickoff. We do our annual launch meeting that we just had. We had a little over 14,000 people in 4 locations. Baltimore, Fort Worth, Pomona, and Toronto. We're getting ready to have our annual convention here coming up. We'll probably have about 20,000 at that one. It's not everybody, again, but you know what? It's a great way to get together, celebrate people that are moving their business, even if it's a little bit. Celebrating the newest person. Why? Because it's important. And for some of you, you may say, well, I just want to have people that are already seasoned. That's great. We'll take that too, but we want to be able to give people the opportunity that have never experienced the financial industry and try it out. If it works, wonderful. You've got a new business partner. If it doesn't, no problem. The worst thing that can happen is they get to learn about their money. They get to understand the financial industry. And there's nothing wrong with that. We do live the dream. Again, when we talked about culture, that has been mentioned in many different presentations here today. We have a culture too. We want to celebrate. We want to travel the world. These are some of the places that we've been over the years. We're getting ready to go to Poland in September. So if you want to go to Poland, just hit us up. We'll let you know how you can get there. No problem. The trips are reimbursement based. So if they hit a certain performance level, they can get a portion or all of the trip reimbursed. They don't have to pay for a thing. They just pack their bags. The trips are all planned out. I mean, it's an amazing time. By the way, when we went to Hawaii, one time we took 10,000 people with us to Hawaii. We had 5,000 people in Israel. It was the largest single group of people ever to come to the country of Israel, for the history of their country. And when you're there together, you're there with people you know. You know, one of the best things I love about this business is I get to actually bring people into this industry that I like. Unlike, working in the, Pentagon or CIA or NSA, you get set assigned to somebody in a cubicle, they make funny noises, they smell funny, you don't like them, but you're forced to sit there because you get that paycheck. Here you can pick and choose who you want to be in business with, who you take with you. All of those numbers there also represent families. We don't do this alone. We understand this business is not done by ourselves. It's done with our families. It is a family business. In fact, Raquel's family has 14 licensed people in this industry. 3 generations already. Her parents and our nephew all the way down, and then the kids in between. So 3 generations and 14 people. This is Swan's hierarchy, I guess, for lack of a better word, what he's built over the years, right? Money is great. Money is wonderful to make. But does it, can you change lives? So this is, by the way, not including 2026. There's already been multiple folks that have made $1 million or more over the last 12 months. In 2026, we didn't include it with the slide. But in his organization, there's 81 plus people that have made $1 million in the last 12 months or more. That's somebody that can really build it big. Now, if you were looking at, building your organization for your business, and you looked at Swan, who is a social worker and, an immigrant, would you actually give him a second look? Or would you give him the chance? Demographics have changed in the U.S. We have to change with that. Have to. Otherwise, we're going to miss the boat on helping a lot of people when it comes to that money. And Swan understands that. So a lot of these folks that are here, I think we're counting somewhere in here, in the blue, or no, we're in the darker gray somewhere here. But these are a lot of people over the years that have changed their life, that did not start in the financial industry. But because they understood it's about people. It's about helping other people. It's about doing good for other people. And at the end of the day, the paycheck takes care of itself. Our standards are not lowered. Just because we are, able to have anybody come in and anybody that wants to join us, great. Guess what? We got to follow the same rules and regulations that you do, if not stricter. Transamerica is our broker-dealer. They're kind of strict sometimes. I don't want to say nothing, but sometimes I think, really? This is the rule. But yes, we don't lower standards. We can't. And we don't want to. We want to get the best from people. And when you look at other career fields and you look at people and you say, wow, they would be really good in this business, you have to think that. Otherwise, what are you doing? This is what the industry does. We got to recruit. Every industry recruits. IBM recruits, government recruits, colleges recruit. Pick one. Why don't you recruit more aggressively? Why don't we grow our industry more aggressively? Expectations should be realistic, though. We don't bring people in and say you got to work 60 hours this week and you got to bring in 45 clients or you're not. Well, no. You have to be realistic. When we're bringing people in part-time, realize they still got bills to pay. They still got a job to go to. They still got a family to take care of. And us as leadership have to know we have to work with that. And we have to be okay with that. Because our vision is long-term. Our vision is not short-term. I'm not here for 6 months. I'm here for the lifetime of this business. So if I spend the next 2 years investing my time, effort, and money into developing somebody, building somebody that over the next 16 years will pay me $100 grand a year, well worth my time. And they get to change their family's life as well. As our workforce expands, our opportunities expand. We not only operate here, we also operate in Canada too. So both countries, hopefully we'll continue expanding that, I think. The reality is those are markets that are untouched. And there are still a lot of markets that are untouched. Why? Because the industry chases those with a lot of money. We don't realize that there are still a lot of people out there that can save a lot of money. There's a huge need for more of us in this industry. We're losing people every day in this industry. Advisors, agents, they're going out the door. People think, there's been a lot with AI at this convention. I love AI. I wrote AI code back in NSA 25 years ago. Wonderful. It's going to be a great tool for us, but it will not replace us. People will still want to talk to a real person when it comes to their money. And at the end of the day, you still have to be able to look in that person's eyes and know that you did the right thing for them. And that's what's at our heart. That's what's at our core. Knowing that we're doing the right thing for people. We care for people. We want to see them grow. We want to see them make money. And Swan is a great leader and coach for us and a great mentor to have. Even though he's been here for 40 years, he's still in the fight. Even though he makes plenty of money. Why? Because he wants the brand new person that's going to start today to have the opportunity to change their life just like he did. And that's the culture we're developing. So I want to thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. Any questions for us? We have a few minutes. Yes?
Do you guys use the same training system in every single franchise? Or?
Yes. So everything we have is written down. Our system has been modified 6 different times. We've gone through, things. We try things that don't work. We try different things. But everything we do is written down. We all train from the same material. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I know you look for desire, okay? But what else do you look for the people that is going to be in your business?
Well, they have to have a desire to do.
Yeah.
Be a little motivated, right? If they're just not interested, there's nothing I can do. But even if they have, hey, I would like to do that, or yeah, I'd like to make an extra few grand a month or whatever it is, great, give it a shot, see if you like it. If they don't have any desire to do something different or do something for themselves, then there's nothing that I can do for them, unfortunately.
Okay, but...
May I add to that?
Yeah.
I think for us, the most important thing is not the skill, but the heart. Lots of people with skill. But if they have a heart to help people, if they have a heart to educate people, then maybe they may not understand the product as well. Maybe they're not the best salesperson, but they can at least open us up to different markets because of their passion to help people. Then that's what we look for most. And then we do a lot of what we call in our business match-up. So advisors working together as teams, basically. So even though they are new and they may not know as much, it's okay. We're not going to compromise the client because you always have a more experienced person working with them too. So that allows us to open up to more people and also bigger market. So, okay.
Okay, and I have another question. When they have time in the business, maybe they take more time to get to the results. But do you have a standard to get in or to say, no, you can't continue with us? Is a point where you say, you can stay here more?
You mean, do we limit what they can do?
No. Okay. When, because I understand the results sometimes is not that fast, okay? But is any point where you say, in this point, you need to have these results, maybe 6 months, 3 months?
No. There is
Well,
no time frame. We allow them to come here and do nothing. We allow them to come here and do nothing forever. Or we allow them to come here and take the time that they need to get it and start to grow. So no, the only time they would have to leave our company is if they don't keep up with compliance or regulation or they do something wrong and our company have to terminate them for compliance reasons or licensing expire or something like that. But other than that, no. We give them the opportunity to take as long as they need.
And we have examples of people that have come to the meeting, they drink the water, they sit in the chairs, they use the office for 2 years and they do nothing, and then the light bulb goes on, and now they're making a 7-figure income. And that helps my business. So, is it worth it? Yes. Does it take patience? Yes.
So the philosophy is kind of, they can either go get that exposure to the financial industry somewhere else, and then the traditional industry try to recruit them when they're already licensed or already aware, or in our model, we allow them to come here and get exposed to the financial industry, get financially educated, get licensed, and then they end up staying here because we're the ones that gave them a chance.
Oh, yes, sir.
First of all, your energy and passion is clear. Thank you for sharing with us today. Do you allow them to come in as well and just sell life insurance if they want to do that? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So they can start out with the life and health side, and if that's what they want to stick with, great. If they want to jump on board and get their, whatever series they want to get, by all means, we'll help them do that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Okay. Your mistake. Hả? Hả? Khôngหลักใช่ mistake ใช่ โอ๊ยอ้าวพี่ไปเลยแต่ว่าก็จะร้อนกับหนาวอะไรไปเข้าห้องน้ำก่อนเพราะว่าคนจะเยอะเลยจะต้องเข้ากับกาแฟเดี๋ยวคนที่เข้า
I'll see you later.
Yeah, we need.
อะไรนะคะลองที่มาให้หน่อยค่ะใช่ต้องใส่หมดใส่ไม่หมดได้หรอเอาไหมเอาก็ได้มาเพราะว่าไม่มีแล้วอ่ะ จะบอกว่าคนทำกินกาแฟอันนี้เอาไหมมันยังไม่หมดนะไม่ปินอ่ะ
เท่าไหร่ช่วงนี้มีปูไหม
เฮ้ยวิดีโอโอเค
อย่างนี้นะ4 เม็ดสมมตินะแต่ถ้าคือมันผิดไม่เคยทำอะไรไงโตมาบนกองเงินกองทองมันใช้จ่ายซึ่งมันเป็นปกติของคนนะจะมีน้อยที่หลานจะรักดีอ่ะใช่ไหมพี่เคยเห็นปกติของคนไหมมันมักจะเป็นอย่างนี้
อันนี้ก็คือเราก็คือปกป้องอย่าให้ธุรกิจยังอยู่ใช่เนี่ย
carry the responsibility. Thanks for sticking with us. We have something.
Please welcome assistant. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
So, as the head of advanced markets and as a leader into clients' long-term connect with extreme. Deborah asked me to keep sure we do. We are.
แอลกอฮอล์น่าซื้อไหม
What are you using?
จริงเหรอ
จริง
Relationship.
เนี่ยพี่ก็ถามมัน
Relationship.